What's good? The time has finally come. I will officially start my own progression series, featuring of course my signature succession sword. It will pretty much be a recap of what I've done in BDO for a week to progress towards my goal. And the first goal to start off the series is saving up enough silver to buy myself a pen red nose. So here's the thing, as you can see with my gear, I have all AP and no DP. Just bad shit bare minimum for stars in at best. So I've been saving up a fuck ton of Kafras for a while now, that eventually when I buy my pen red nose, I'll have a decent amount already, and buying the rest shouldn't be too hard. Unfortunately, I've already tried to enhance myself and it's all failed miserably. I've legit got a 190 stack and a 160 stack because of how many times I failed, and a shit ton of 90s and 80 stacks from the fail. Only a few of them are actually from seasonal rewards, but the rest were high stacks. Pretty much that all gone wrong. So instead, I'll save my high stacks and just buy my gains and go from there. And in case you didn't know why I'm shooting for a pen red nose, it's so I can get it to Kafras level 10 and get myself a dead god armor. If I remember correctly, a pen dim tree takes about 8,000 Kafras and red nose only takes about 7,000 plus Kafras. So ultimately it saves me a bit of money that way, and I already have close to half the amount of Kafras needed. So if things go smoothly, I should get my dead god in a smooth process. Currently I have about 700 million in my market at the moment. So let's see how much I can get when this video finishes. So first things first, I have an army of dark rifts I haven't touched yet. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this shit done. So one thing I wanted to mention, and maybe some people are wondering, how is it my gear has stayed seemingly the same since my last Black Star enhancement video, the all AP and no DP setup? Really, it's just two reasons. The first one I've already shown you. My high stacks constantly failing has somehow managed to keep any kind of progression down the drain for a while. And the second is I actually haven't been playing the game for a while, and let me explain. So for a while, a good half year, or honestly maybe more, I've legit just been making videos on BDO, but not necessarily playing the game and grinding much. What usually happens is that I do my part-time job bullshit every week, then any free time I have, I typically use it for editing and recording, then rinse and repeat. There's another thing I do every week, but that'll reveal itself when I decide to open my second channel on that. So now that I'm at a point where I got a good majority of the guides done and finished, I can now actually play the game for myself and also for the content. I figured it's a two birds one stone, and on top of that, I don't think there's a succession sork out there doing a progression series, so I was like, fuck it, why not just start one and give myself a reason to play? I still have a few guides and ideas planned, so those will be made still from time to time. Knowing myself, I'll definitely keep consistent with the progression series, so I'm low-key looking forward to hopefully making actual gains and see what other shit I can get. You know, while I'm farming these dark rifts, what do you guys prefer to do? Let the dark rifts stack up to a decent amount, or kill each one as they spawn up? Obviously for me, I don't mind just waiting for them to bunch up so I can do a dark rifts run, but I personally don't know the efficiency difference actually. Let me know how you guys handle your dark rifts. Alright, now that these shits are done, let's see what kind of shit I can get from all these boxes. This is a pretty good ass run for the most part. I'll plan to tap some of these to pry actually. Now I'll go ahead and get all my captain scrolls out the way as well. Gotta admit, this is gonna be interesting for me. If I actually stick to the plan, that means I'll have to record almost everything I do in BDO. Well, not entirely everything, mostly just the bigger important things. But as far as income goes, my plan is to do 3 main things each week. Grind out stars in, do my farms when I can, and get back to my cooking turn-ins. Those 3 should be able to help my weekly income. Personally, I've always been a grinder, I can do that shit for hours, especially if I have the grind fever. And the funny thing is, I've always grinded with nothing to watch on the side. I don't know how I do it outside of just talking to my guildies and call. I kind of just sit there like a monkey in my thoughts for hours mindlessly grinding. Then eventually I upgraded to a triple monitor setup, so of course grinding is not really an issue for me anymore, but I'd still enjoy it over something like bartering or the dedicated life skilling route. If I had to guess, it's probably because there's a certain satisfaction to grinding optimal hours at a spot. Keeping track of your trash loot, the rare drops for sure is what drives me to grind, outside of the consistent trash per hour. It's kind of like free gambling, except you're only really spending time and not money or any other factor. And that's obviously what Stars is for the most part. And best of all, if you grind, there's always a harder spot to strive for. There's Sakraya, Ash Forest, plenty of other strong spots to reach for as your gear progresses, which definitely makes me feel like I'm making real progress. To look back and think I actually used to grind Gahaz or even Hishia really makes me think on how far I've come. Even though technically Hishia is actually not that far back, so really just like Gahaz and everything else probably. And if I'm not node warring, then at least when you grind, you'll find yourself in PvP situations where your practice and BA can actually pay off. I mean, it is a PvP game, so I'd like to have some kind of PvP in my BDO experience one way or another. So that's always nice to see how I do in open world PvP in a duel for spot or possibly other situations like GVGs too. Bet. Got all these scrolls done. Now let's see what our loot's looking like. Yeah, since I don't plan to enhance at the moment, all these memory fragments I have saved up are going to be huge. Now let's see how much silver I can get. Now that I'm back at home, let's just open up everything else I have in my reward and inventory. Then while I have a shitload of dust, I'll go ahead and make as many as I can. Yeah, funny enough, I remember before the Dead God came out, but was like announced, I had spent, I think, around 2 to 3 billion silver on Kafras. I can't remember. And they were about like 1.2 or 1.3 million, maybe 1.1, but that seems a bit too good. But I know it's like around that range. And I ended up getting myself around like 1,000 Kafras to start up my savings. And ever since then, any Kafras I got, I just throw it into my storage until the day I got a pen armor. So far, the pen armor part has been super unsuccessful, but me having 3,000 plus Kafras saved up for me that's actually pretty good. So thankfully, when the time comes, I'll have to only invest in like half the amount needed. But thank God I invested into these Kafras. I knew damn well that once the Dead God armor was announced and that you needed your pen to be C10, Kafras was going to be bought out like it was fucking stocks. So I just went ahead and bought myself with whatever money I had at that time and just got like 1,000. I think I could have just like grinded more, got more money, and just like kept buying more Kafras. But I was kind of unsure, but then I realized, yeah, nah, Kafra prices were definitely going to go up. They're definitely going to be a shortage, so I probably should have bought more. But I don't know. At the time, like I said, I wasn't really playing the game much, so that was just like whatever fucking bullshit money I had in the market just sitting. I was like, fuck it, why not just get like 1,000 Kafras to start out? So thankfully I did that. Then one last thing, I'll go ahead and cash out all the armor stones I can. Time to enhance for the vibe. Gonna use the cron stones I got saved up to see what happens when I try to enhance my Tet dim tree on crons. I wouldn't be too mad if it goes, since at the moment I sold my tri red nose anyways. Can never get that bitch up to Tet either, but nothing else to tap really, so fuck it. All right, let's see if it goes through. And piece of shit. Can't say I'm not surprised. I'm giga desensitized to failing enhancements at this point. All right, next we'll just go for quick taps on the base accessories for my dark rifts. I hope these shits will go. Just give me something. That's one successful pry. Let's see if I'm lucky twice. Yeah, didn't think so. Well, I got my last set to enhance, so hopefully I go 2 for 3 and get this pry. Nice. May not be the biggest value increase, but it's still something. Way better than having all of them break on me, to be honest. So I had just collected a few old items on my marketplace, got myself up from 700 mil to 1 billion silver. Now with all the new loot from the scrolls, dark rifts, box openings, everything I just got, I went ahead and threw it all in the marketplace, so now I have to wait to cash them out. In the meantime, I decided to spar with Spec for a bit to kill some time, but also to dust off the rust. So in terms of PvP and where I stand on it, currently I am a bit rusty and haven't really practiced my 1v1s too much. I'm just gonna be honest, my combos are a bit scuffed and certain movement decisions are a bit out there. Don't get me wrong, I love to show clips where I do good and whatnot, but I also like to show the clips where I go wrong or mess up. It's more realistic to my skill level at the moment due to the lack of practice, but also to show off others that even though it may seem like I'm pretty crisp and clean, at the moment I'm not. This is the type of game where if you go MIA in PvP, you'll lose a bit of your macro gameplay, timings, or even quick thinking for combos made up on the spot. I feel like it would be better to show you guys the progression of my skill and everything to not only show you how I got from point A to point B in terms of skill, but also to give you guys inspiration, ideas, and even learn from my mistakes. It's not going to be the most helpful, only showing you the highlights, but also the lows. Learning from failure is the biggest advantage to any player looking to improve. It's a sign of willingness to adapt and grow without being stubborn or deceitful of one's image. I do plan on getting back into PvP and actually testing my limits to see what I can accomplish on Succession Sork. I feel like even though it may not be as strong as Awakening in 1v1, I might have the potential to bring it up to that level over time. But in the meantime, I have to try my best with my Glass Cannon Sork with no DP to SA trade until I can get my DP up. I just have to play like a glass cannon to the best of my abilities. It also unintentionally puts the game on hard mode and forces you to make less mistakes or bad decisions, since one mistake will cost you your death. It's helped me to become nastier with my iframes and movement so I don't get touched, but it definitely sucks otherwise. Other than that, I'll go out of my way to spar a lot more in BA because this is my progression series after all. That should technically include my PvP progression, so hopefully you guys will see improvements over time, and one day I'll try my best to become as sweaty as possible on my Succession Sork. Possibly GVG clips in the future, who knows. But definitely when I'm going for gear progression, I, in the back of my mind really want to actually get good in 1v1s and just the PvP aspect in general with Succession Sork. So even though I may not be where I want to be at the moment, I'm definitely going to work my hardest to try to be pretty clean in 1v1s and just overall clean in PvP in general. So there's definitely probably going to be some training montages in my progression series here and there, but who knows, we'll see. All right, now that we're done sparring, I'll go ahead and check out my marketplace. Yeah, as you can see, I have 1 billion silver as I mentioned. Let's see how much more I'll get after cashing out. 1.8 billion silver. God damn. So far the silver income has been pretty good, although that's only because the rifts and scrolls I had saved up, but either way I'm onto a good start, to be honest. Time to get my farms all done and finished. At the moment I'm just doing the normal farms with magical seeds for stone tail fodder. I know I could easily make more getting different fences or plants, but I do want to shoot for a dream horse eventually, so I'll just stick to this farm setup for now until I want to get crazier. Then to wrap up this video, it's time I hit up my usual spot for grinding, Star Zen main rotation. With this I'm popping all buffs and scrolls since I'm not that far away from level 63. 3. And with an advanced loot scroll and with the Agris buffs, I'll maximize the income I'll get in just 1 or 2 hours. Star Zen has always been my favorite spot for multiple reasons. One is because this place is pretty much made for succession source. Every crystal we kill, it knocks them all down just perfectly for our down attacks in Black Wave. And the second reason is... So yeah, that's why I like to stay at Star Zen. Always be my favorite spot, and hopefully when I get better gear, I can try out the new Star Zen mobs that spawn from the newly added tower. I actually tried it, and I have actually died in 2 hits in soup armor, so yeah, I'm pretty paper at the moment. So this was for my first hour here. Almost 12,000 trash with advanced and Agris. Haven't clutched out my rotation in a minute, so I think there's still plenty of room for improvement here. And of course, the amazing distortion drop, main reason why I grind here. So that hour felt pretty good. I'm definitely gonna grind another hour and see how I'm feeling. So I'm sure some people are wondering, you know, Kaiju, how come you like Star Zen, why not Sakaya or other spots? And usually my answer is... But outside of that, yeah, Star Zen is just so smooth. I'll admit, it does get credit sometimes, but that's okay. I always contest the main rotation, so I'm not really complaining, to be honest. Then of course I know some people would ask me, well, Kaiju, what happens if you never get a disto drop ever? And to be honest, I think the best way to put it is... So yeah, that's how I look at it. Star Zen is just my personal favorite, and if I'm lucky, it's fucking amazing. But yeah, that's all there is to it. So that was my second hour at Star Zen with over 21,000 trash loot with Agris and advanced in just 2 hours. And the triple distortion drop in 2 hours was pretty fucking clutch. I don't know if it's because Star Zen noticed they were on camera and they were like, oh, they decided to show off and look good for the viewers, but god damn, I usually don't get that lucky, but I'm fucking glad that shit was on footage. Now let's see how much silver that was in trash loot. Yeah, 300 mil. That's a hefty amount. Now let's see how much money I'll have after everything I've done this week. Jesus Christ, I'm already at 3.4 billion silver. Going from 700 at the start of the video till now has been very good for the start of my savings. Pen Red Nose at the moment is going around for 17 billion silver, I believe. So having 3.4 billion on the first progression series is pretty good. So if I'm lucky, I might be able to buy my Pen Red Nose in less than 2 months, possibly a month and a half. Either way, it's looking good so far. So that's just about it for today's video. Appreciate you guys for watching the video this far and appreciate the support. Let me know what you guys think of the start of my series and what you guys might want to see on there. I plan to show a variety of things, not entirely just grind and income progression, but also other things like PvP or interactions with other people as well. And other questions you guys have, I'll be happy to reply in the comments as usual. And check out my new Discord server I've made recently if you guys are interested. Links will be in the description. With that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!